Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life.
Hey everybody, welcome to Black Lodge Trivia Night. We are back with another Bonfire walk with me. Matt, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. You know why I'm doing great, Art?
Why don't you tell me? I think I can guess, but I want to hear it.
I'm doing great because tonight we're talking about Latria.
Yes.
Or the first part of Latria, which is a world that I think grows on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, anyways, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yes.
Despite having one of the worst bosses in the game, not thematically, but mechanically, the entire World 3 is a really impressive and creepy zone. And it's only appropriate because spooky season is upon us.
Yes.
So,
actually, to that effect, something that came up on the Discord was the fact that they are making a Mithras-inspired Edwardian investigation game that's not Lovecraftian. It's based on the ghost stories of M.R. James. And so I went out and I got the ghost stories of M.R. James. So I got to start checking this out to see what it's all about, because I've always heard people say he's better than Lovecraft. Apparently M.R. James was actually H.P. Lovecraft's favorite author. And
I think I've read an M.R. James.
See, I don't know if I have, and I'm now dying to, because I'm really curious to see what all this is about. But supposedly very famous for his ghost stories. I think it's a guy. I don't know. I feel bad now.
Did we talk M.R. James when we did English Eerie?
Oh, maybe it came up there. That would not surprise me, because that's very much in that vein, I think.
Okay. I think I've dabbled with some of this. I'm going to check these out as well. This sounds great.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's spooky season. That's coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun. We do have one bit of business that we have to take care of before we go any further, and that is our trivia.
Yeah.
Matt, are you ready for trivia?
I am.
Okay. Back when Demon's Souls was on the verge of release, it wasn't out yet, but it was getting close. Former Sony Interactive Entertainment president Shuhei Yoshida got the chance to play Demon's Souls behind some closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say about the game, or what did he think about the game after his few hours playing it?
I'm going to say he thought it was too hard. I don't know. I do know, just on a related note, just drag this out, that the Painted World from Dark Souls was kind of the early kind of test for Dark Souls. I did not know Demon's Souls had a similar thing, so I do not know. I'll say he said it was too hard and no one would enjoy it because it's too hard.
That's not too far from the truth. The correct answer is that he thought, quote, "This is crap. This is an unbelievably bad game." And then because he thought it was crap, he refused to publish it in North America, and later thought that was like one of his biggest marketing regrets during his presidency at Sony Interactive, because the American publication rights for Demon's Souls went to Atlas, and then Bandai Namco got publication for the Dark Souls series. So Sony sort of lost grip on the series, so to speak. And that might have been
exclusivity.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
And so when a new IP came out, they sort of locked it down with Bloodborne, not to repeat that mistake, but
sure.
Yeah. So, he thought this is crap. This is an unbelievably bad game, because after 2 hours, he was still at the beginning of Boletaria 1-1.
I was going to say he was probably fighting the man-eaters.
That would have,
which we will not talk about tonight. That's 3-2. We're only talking about 3-1 tonight, but
right. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, tonight's topic, we're not going to speed run through the entirety of the world because this one is worth really like soaking in and spending some time. Not that I really understand any of it, but again, it's the Tower of Latria. 3-1 is called the Prison of Hope.
Also known as the Tower of Hope, right? Oh, Prison of Hope.
Prison of Hope. Yeah, so 3-1 is called the Prison of Hope, and when you go to the Archstone, it says, "Latria, land of the Queen's ivory tower. A vengeful old man claimed the Queen's life and imprisoned any remaining royalty. The prison echoes with the resentful cries of its inmates, tormented by their inhuman guards. So, yeah, do you want to give a little spin on how you get through the level, the little quick recap of the level itself?
Yeah, so actually there's not a lot of like trickeration or anything to describe here. You're essentially exploring a prison. You're up, I believe, on the 4th floor, and there's a big open pit, and it's kind of horseshoe shaped, and you're going around and you're collecting keys and you're running floor to floor, and eventually you make it to the bottom. But along the way, there are all these inmates, there are all these jail keepers, and there are traps. And where this level leads you is to ascend. And you are told that if you make it through this part of the level, and the people of Latria were told this, you will find retribution. And so really it's just you navigate a prison, a bunch of jail cells. It's kind of cool if you open up some jail cells, then those kind of, those inmates will be free roaming, and not all of them will attack you, but some of them will. Some of them will knock you off in different parts of the level. It's a pretty interesting level layout. It's a little daunting the first go through, but that's pretty much it. You're exploring a few levels of a prison until you finally reach the ground floor before you can ascend.
Yeah, and now I'm just going to be a little bit of a actually, and I don't mean this like I think you said retribution. Is actually redemption, and the only reason why I'm going to point that out is because that changes sort of the lie. But we can...
Redemption makes more sense. I don't know why I was thinking retribution, because that's not even... It is very clearly redemption.
Right, and not that I wanted to be that person, but in this particular case, I just wanted it because it's sort of the structure to the world's lie, so to speak.
Yeah, and you want to seek retribution anyways. Actually, like you receive retribution for seeking redemption. You are very much going to be punished. So that's the layout. But what I think just big picture wise more, you walk in, and one of the craziest things about this level is you use the stone and you warp into a cell. And this 3-1. Actually, all of World 3 is such a lonely world. And this level, the whole world really thrives off of ambiance. So here, it's the sounds of the prison. It's the sounds of being alone. It's the prison of hope. But this whole world is the complete antithesis of hope.
Right. And what does that even mean? A prison of hope. Like, what does that...
Well, it's all part of the lie, right? I mean, that's very much what this world has become, is one giant lie and one giant deception. But what's really cool is, like, just immediately you're in this creepy ass prison, and at first it's just these dreglings, it's just these dudes hanging out in a cell, but then you start getting like torture devices, and then you see the prison keepers, and you essentially get these tentacle headed Cthulhu ass looking magicians. Yeah. And the whole aesthetic of 3, especially 3-1, is some of my favorite in the game.
I could say it might be some of my favorite in the whole series. It's just so strong. And again, I had the privilege of playing Demon Souls as my first Souls experience. And so you start with Latria, and Latria was just like, wow, this is like such a classic take, a dark take, but a classic take on like Western RPG tropes, and it does it so well. Storming the castle, like the guards, the knights, things like that. You get to the world 2, which we've already talked about, which is I said it was just like the despair, but it's still a classic mine level, right? It's not doing anything like that would blow you away. This was the first time I'd ever seen anything like this. I hadn't dipped my toe into many. I don't know if this is like Japanese art styles. I have no idea. But this was the first time I encountered the Souls horror. Yeah. Which it does. It's like that thing. It's like, hey, you don't know I'm good at this, but I'm good at this, right? And it just whips out like the Cthulhu cosmic horror guards. The prisoners, the madness is so clear in this. Like, you could sort of tell like the the hollow guards in Boletaria have lost their minds. And so there's something to that that's horrible. The miners in World 2 are just like the embodiment of dead inside, just tortured to this existence. But this is madness. This is the madness that comes with going hollow.
Yeah.
And it puts it front and center. And I feel like there are two types of prisoners that you run into. You open the gate, some just run out and get in your way and you kill them for that reason. But basically they just run out and they like hold their head, they just panic, they don't attack you. And then there's others that still have a little bit of fight in them.
Yeah.
And I always picture like
some even have spears. If you go on the wrong one,
they figured out spears, right. Or some have shivs, some have like sticks that they've pointed, sharpened to a point. And so you can just sort of see like the range of, they're not quite gone yet. You know, I respect that you still got a little fight in you, that you haven't completely given up or given in.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, with Bloodborne being my like true, like, I mean, that's just cosmic horror to a T, and it's so masterfully done.
Yeah.
But this still captures it, and again, the environment here, and it's a great environment. There isn't as much, I'm going to be careful saying this. I wish there was more environmental storytelling.
Okay.
But there is some. I mean, it's not without it. Like, it's still a cool. On the other hand, it also does kind of feel like a generic. This whole world is a little. It's very direct. Like, if you find the right NPC, you get the whole story of this world.
Yes.
Very, very clearly, and it is a tragic story, and it's a story that I love. And then I think there are like things beneath that. But I think the environmental storytelling basically extends to like, this is a shitty place where they tortured people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really go beyond that. So like, but I still love it.
Yeah. So you mentioned sort of do you want to go into that story a little bit of this place?
Yeah. So I think there is a little bit of what changed between this is not my own thought. This is just what I picked up on research from the original game, the original translation into here, as to what Latria exactly was. Was it a magical school? Was it this land full of nobles? The important part is that Latria used to flourish.
Yes.
And it was the home for magic, and it's one of the reasons why an archstone was put here. And so there was a queen. She banished. I think there's some indication that it's her husband. I don't think that's a direct, unless I'm missing it. I think maybe at some point there may have been something that said husband and it got whatever. Banished this guy. This guy comes back, and we'll certainly talk about him. I think he's one of the coolest bosses ever, because it's not necessarily him. Mm-hmm. It's the demon that has possessed him, and the demon has taken the form of a cloak. Yeah, which is just so cool. Like, the demon is not this transformed monstrosity. It's just this thing that has possessed this guy. And basically, he purges Latria. And everyone who is loyal to the queen, it was imprisoned. And the rest of Latria, which we're going to get to, is just so messed up from this. Yeah. So everyone who's loyal to the queen has been imprisoned. And then there's also some indication that these Cthulhu prison keepers might actually be loyal to who we find out to be the Mad Monk later.
Yeah, I read similar things where like the nobles who sort of flip sides, who saw a winning hand when they knew a winning hand when they saw it, they were rewarded with being the guards, but this is what they became.
Right, and you kind of see that in their clothing and stuff. And so there again, there is some environmental storytelling. But really what you get is this land of magic that has been betrayed, and all of these prisoners have been kept in this prisoner of hope. But the important, this land of magic, remember, magic and demon souls is soul magic.
Right.
And so nobility for them was the desire for more and more souls.
Yeah.
And I want to talk, eventually I can't wait to talk about the former noble's wife, because if you really start to look into her and what she's doing, so all these people just crave souls, and that carries over. All of these torture devices we are seeing are there to extract souls and like pull souls out of people. But eventually you find this NPC. I don't know if you want to add anything else before we talk about the former noble's wife, but I love her.
Just that I want to say. No. Go ahead.
Well, because I think she is.
Sorry, let me just.
Probably.
So the former noble's wife, she is somebody. She's imprisoned, right? She
is imprisoned, but
yeah.
she's intentionally chosen not to ascend.
Right.
And I think she knows that it's a lie. And so these prisoners, and they have this message that's conveyed to them that if you choose to ascend, well, you know what? This is a good point. You open her cell, and she says,
"You're still intact, aren't you? Where do you call home?" Dear me, I shouldn't pry. Oh, perhaps you'd like something from my collection. I've known better days. I was once the wife of nobility, and I have some nice things to show for it. Before, there were many others trapped here, but they were driven mad and ventured above of their own volition. Redemption. There exists no such thing. The Queen banished that depraved old man from the land. He returned in strange golden garb with foul demons in tow. They pillaged great Latria, land of the learned, and shut us away in this prison. Since then, they've been feeding off our souls, telling us over and over that if we go above, we will be granted redemption. I know the truth. The church goddess may die, but never for long. We are trapped below forever. Redemption. There exists no such thing.
which is so much foreshadowing. And if you're ding dong like me on your first playthrough and don't like dig into that last line, we're going to talk about it. But that is the story of Latria.
Right.
And so she's sitting here and she has chosen not to try to ascend, but she's still selling you shit to get more souls.
Right.
And she sells a ring that grants more souls on kills, just driving home all of this. They're soul hungry. She's still soul hungry. She's holding onto this ring. If you don't start as a wizard, you get the silver bracelets and shit that like give you more souls. You get all the wizard shit here. And so we have this magical land where they're soul hungry and they're being fed this lie that if they ascend, they're going to face redemption. Find redemption.
Right. And that's interesting. Yeah, like you said, the ring of literally called the Ring of Avarice. So not hiding anything there. It's just basically greed. Certain item descriptions like the silver bracelets talk about how they're for people that were greedy. It's all about like you said, the kingdom really flourished, but it was sort of like a nasty kind of like get yours approach. Where like the nobles, like there's a real hierarchy. I think there were the nobles and everyone else, and they were really everyone else down below. The nobles, again, like the Ring of Avarice just talks about like sucking in the souls. And what's interesting is that it started as, I think, with what the Queen, I think, intended with the Ivory Tower and stuff, as a place of learning. One of the NPCs that you can encounter here in the first levels, Sage Frake. And who
is an incredibly important NPC. In all of Demon's Souls. It's like crucial.
And part of his backstory is that he's credited with sort of systemizing the soul arts. And that is what made it possible for humans to take advantage of souls. And I'll link, I know like some of these things are things that I was reading. Some of these things are from videos. I'll link the videos that I personally watched to get some of these ideas. But that idea of him being the one to systemize magic, I think that's right there in the text. And I'm sure Vadividya pointed out that text to me at some point, but I think that's somewhere right in the text that he...
I don't remember where that came from. I'm sure I got it from the same source. Whereas the former nobles wife, she's one of the most explicit storytellers in Souls, right?
Mhm.
Like, not that we don't run, there are other very explicit storytelling. Dark Souls 3, I think, is very explicit at times. But in terms of everything else, I mean, I guess actually a lot of Demon Souls is this way, really. She gives you the whole story of this land.
Yeah.
That Latria has been pillaged, and then now everything is a lie. Or at least she gives you the story of the first third of this land. Now, what is this lie covering up? It's covering up a very sick and twisted remainder of the world.
Right.
But eventually you go through and you do ascend and you fight someone who looks like the Queen of Latria. And even though it's a dumb fight, Fool's Idol is one of my favorite in the game.
Yes. Yeah. It's a fight that we'll get to. It becomes a staple. The pattern, its core is something that gets reused a lot. But I guess, you were sort of saying you wish there were more environmental storytelling. I wanted to point out something in particular.
Yeah.
A couple different things. One, and I am not going to remember where I saw this or read it, but maybe it's, last time I mentioned like a Dave Control video channel that does it, but somebody pointed out the idea is like the archstone that leads to 3-1, like you said, brings you into a cell. That's probably not where it was initially, because it would have been an archstone that was given to the queen.
That makes sense.
And so the idea is that the old man might have moved it there, as people don't know what they're coming into. They go right into a cell and then they're just part of the churn, which I thought was an interesting. The other thing I actually really liked, and it seemed simple, and I never really put it together until today when I was replaying it for research. I like the idea, like, I find this is a level that I always struggle with. It's not because of the difficulty, it's because I get lost. I always miss one of two keys, and I'll tell you what they are in a little bit. But what I really liked about it is you come out of the cell, which the gate is broken or open for some reason. I think it's broken. You immediately go to the next cell and it's locked. And it seems like such a dumb, simple thing, but obviously a locked cell implies a key. Right. And there's a locked door behind you, but most people don't look behind them, and so I think it sort of says like, hey, just so you know, this is kind of the puzzle. It's going to involve locked doors. And in the original PlayStation 3 version of it, the little spotlight that the keys get to sort of point them out in the environment, it's not very bright.
Well, there's none here, right? There's none in the remasters.
No. Some of them have like a little sort of golden light on them. Some don't.
Oh, okay.
Or the room is bright enough with the golden light. But there's a couple that I was like, oh, I can spot that from across the room.
Okay. Yeah, once you know you're there. But the first time I came in, it's like, what? And I think I just like happened to be pressed up against the wall to like find a key for the first time. And like now but I agree 100%. Like if you don't know to look for those keys, this level can be very confusing because you're like,
I don't know what to do.
I mean, eventually you run out of places you could go, so you start.
Right. And there is one pretty close to where you start, but I appreciated the idea, like, and maybe I only know this because of hindsight, but I was like, you know what, they're in the Souls way, they're giving you a hint. Souls don't really give you hints, but I feel like it's telling you like, hey, there's locked doors. What is that? What do you think that means? And the other thing I wanted to say is almost as soon as you step out of that opening cell, the ambience, which in this is obviously visual, but it's one of the strongest sound designs, I think, in Souls, because you immediately hear off in the distance the tortured scream of a man screaming, "Please help me."
Please help me. You hear them all throughout.
Yeah, you hear them all throughout, and it's juxtaposed with the noblewoman's singing, and so you get this haunting sort of kind of melody. Punctuated by bang, bang, bang. Please help. It's just and then the
Right.
bing-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding, the bell of the guards. And
Yeah.
it just, the first time I played it, like the reason why this is always going to be one of my favorite levels is because my first experience with it, like, was literally goosebumps the whole time, because that sound mix,
You're so tense.
yeah, just got me.
Well, and then the first time you go in here, at least for me, the guards just wreck you because their
Yeah.
magic is so powerful. Their first spells usually, if they're not at a distance, they have like a soul beam, soul ray, whatever. But they have this spell that paralyzes you, and then they grab you, and it takes you. It about kills you. It about one shots you.
Yeah.
And then they immediately follow that up with like a close AOE damage. Like once you know their pattern, they're fine. But
Yeah.
my God, when you fight a red demon version of these guys later on, and like it's one of the worst boss runbacks ever. The fucking man eaters, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But everything you just said, I couldn't agree with more. The physical ambiance and the sound design for 3.1 and then 3.2, which I know we're not talking about tonight, is so good.
It's amazing. It's genuinely amazing.
It really is.
Yeah. And it shows how much you can do. Like, a lot of video games, you know, Souls games are pretty famous for never having an ambient soundtrack. Elden Ring might be, I don't know, Bloodborne, like boss fights, yes, but
Right.
Elden Ring did Running About the World because it's open world exploration, but most of these do not have
No.
music. But to that regard, 3.1 is one of the few that you could argue has a soundtrack because of the woman singing. And
Right.
it's haunting in both the beautiful way and the way that just drives home the visuals of what you're seeing, the hopelessness. Yeah. And like
And
you
that
said,
guy,
like,
worth mentioning, the guy who's screaming is a spirit lost
Yes.
in a cell. And he's kind of the world tendency actor of this world. There's other things
Yes.
that impact world tendency here. But if you have the right tendency and you go through this enough, you will find his body and he's dead.
Yeah.
And if you fight him on pure black tendency, he's incredibly hard.
yes.
At least in my opinion. He's hard to fight.
Yeah. It's,
What is his name? I can't think of his name.
his name is Lord Rydell.
Right, Al, that's right.
So he's a noble. He's been imprisoned. You need the white world tendency, I think, to free him, and then the black world tendency to kill him and get, you know, the better equipment. But yeah, when you finally find him, he's screaming like, "Please help me!" And then when you talk to him, he says,
Well, you are a sane one, are you not? My name is Rydell. Please, liberate me from this jail. I have precious little time. I must retrieve an article from my corpse. As you can see, the only thing that remains of me is my soul. My corpse lies in another cell. I fancy it a fine, rotten mess by now. I've no interest in my corporeal flesh, but I left upon my person a keepsake of my late wife. I will soon fade into the beyond. My only wish is to do so near that token of my beloved. A retainer to the king once held the key to this cell. That foul pig with his gluttonous, swaying belly.
which didn't provide me the clue I thought it would to find the key to open it. But it's like a tragic story. He knows he's about to go, and he's like, I just want to see the ocean one more time. I just want to remember my wife as I go. And I think
No, I'm just gonna say it drives this theme of it's ham-fisted, right? But it's not even ham-fisted. It's so blunt, but it's so blunt in a beautiful way. You're in the prison of hope, and if you talk to the noble's wife, the former noble's wife, you're told of this. Yeah, they tell us just ascend and you'll have redemption, but it's all a lie.
Right.
And all of Latria is just so corrupted and ruined now. I just love that messaging. I know it's not subtle and it's not like clever to pick up on it, but everything from calling it a prison of hope to I mentioned that the fool's idol is a representation of the queen to trap people. But even if you beat her, you then go into another trap. But before that, there's a giant ass version of the queen that's another trap that just fires a million fucking arrows at you. Like this whole world is a lie. And I just love that clash of like, this is, whereas 5-1 is just a shithole of despair that I love in for a lot of different reasons. 3-1 is a shithole of despair that is like, yeah, it's really shitty here, but we're also playing like mind games with people.
Right.
And we're not fooling anyone. I mean, the noble's wife, she's not falling. She says the only people who fall for it are the ones who've gone crazy. I just love that. It's so good. So good.
And what I thought was really fascinating, because again, from Sage Frake, you learn but you get the idea, like, this is a place of knowledge.
Yes.
It's a place of
knowledge.
knowledge.
You get mana potions here for the first time. I'll just real quick, keep going.
Yeah.
This is where you first get mana potions, which again is intelligence is such a key part of Latria, and then obviously intelligence boosts your mana, and
Right. So what's really interesting is that for a world that was founded on knowledge, the entirety of the lie is, and I don't mean this controversially, is religious. So, it's all about, like, fool's idol is not a knowledge-based term. An idol is a thing of worship. It's part of religion. It's so what they've done is, when they needed to fool people, they bust out an idol. They bust out a giant religious icon statue that ends up firing crossbows at you, and it culminates in a massive Gothic cathedral. So what they've done, like, in very much like religion is the opiate of the people, to give people hope, they didn't use knowledge. They used religious iconography to sort of inspire them to think about the next life one level above. And I think I mentioned this in an early Boletaria discussion, but one of the NPCs in the Nexus is a faith-based, some kind of cleric, and she just flat out says, like, has God abandoned us or forsaken us, Umbasa? And I think I mentioned when she just said, has God abandoned, I was like, wait, not like gods or gods of, sawdust. Like, it was just capital G, God. And so when you get here and it's, it's pretty hardcore traditional Western religious iconography, I just thought that was powerful, that the way they're selling these people hope, is through the same kind of iconography that, and again, I don't mean this like as a controversial point, but they chose that iconography to sell hope to the hopeless. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I necessarily picked up on that one, but I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. And it's obviously they've been driven mad, but it's also supposed to be these very intelligent people, which again maybe is why they didn't fall for it.
Right, because some people don't fall
until
for it.
They went mad. I don't know, but
right.
Yeah, I like it.
And then there's something else. So yeah, the main NPCs you run into are Sage Frake, Lord Rydell, the noblewoman. Are there any other NPCs that the former noblewoman?
Well, there is. So, those loyal to the old man are here, and they're helping put on this show. And so you can find someone, and you need to find them before you fight the Fool's Idol. You need to find. Does he have a name?
I don't know, but he is.
I think he's just a prisoner.
Yeah.
And he keeps reviving her. So yeah, technically my point is there's an NPC there because you can talk to him, but he just says, I'm just a humble nobody. I don't remember his exact lines. It's not that important. Meaning he tells you he's nothing, but if you go on the other side, you see him, and as you watch, he's just like casting spells and just like, ooh. But then like when you come out, he's like, oh no, I'm nobody. If you don't kill him, he will continuously revive the boss. So
make sure
you kill him.
When we get to the boss fight, that's something I had to learn the hard way the first time, and I think you mentioned the first time you might have had to learn that the hard way as well. Like, why am I not winning? Why can't I?
That one was spoiled for me.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the other thing, we mentioned the former noble's wife. Part of her, I think you mentioned it. One of the things she says, I'm looking at on a wiki, and if you don't buy anything from her, she says, well, that's quite all right. I wish to stay here, but I need souls to remain sane, as you know, of course. And it's sort of also, if it hasn't been explicitly stated before, it's sort of like, we were talking about at one point, I think you brought up the idea that like, there's sort of like a dementia kind of thing to going hollow that's really tragic. And it sort of, craving souls is no longer greedy the way it was earlier in Latria. Now if that's what's preventing you from going into this nightmare of losing yourself, how could you not put that above just about anything else?
Right.
If you buy something from her, she says, thank you. Now I can stay here for a little while longer. I have a feeling that she believes that once she goes, she might go ascend. I think the only thing, in my interpretation, the only thing keeping her from going and ascending is the fact that she's able to hold on to enough sanity to know not to do it. And that's why it's so important that, she's not going to go out there and kill and take souls. I don't know if it's because of the indignity of it or because she's not able to, but she's a noble after all. We have people for that. But I think she understands the precariousness of her situation when she says, now I can stay here for a little while longer.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was going to look up, I was just curious. I was looking up the actress who voiced her to see if, just for fun, if she did any other voices.
Oh, that'd be interesting because.
And she has. She's Yosefka.
Oh, makes sense.
I mean, she's several. So she's also Yuria. Dark Souls 3, Carla, the old woman of Yondor in the Ring City.
Okay.
You come across her. Not that this isn't anything that Dark Souls, Kolina Vizlith, Annalise, Wildblood Queen, Dr. Yosefka.
Okay.
And Yuria.
I will give whoever does and I assume like the casting in the original Japanese is also great. Whoever does the English voice casting for the Soul series, kudos. Some really good performances.
Bring the voices over, and not just patches. Like I like that they repeat voice actors. I think that's cool.
Right. So there's a couple. Sorry, go ahead.
I love her. No. I just like the former noble's wife is just her whole just look. Like she looks rough. But she's also like, remember we were talking about Swords of the Serpentine, and we're talking about how there's basically this whole faction. You haven't read into them, but because I know you don't want it spoiled, but basically like they're holding on to that last grasp of nobility, even if it means like you're eating rice and beans for dinner, this like facade.
Right.
And she's just this cool, she's not cool. It's just something about her, just her whole look. She's decrepit as hell, but she still has her posture. She's still holding on to it. For whatever reason, I really like this NPC, and I did not look this up before. Apparently, there are fan theories that she is the former Queen of Latria. Now, I don't buy that for a second because I'm sure that she's dead.
Yeah,
but that's interesting.
Yeah, the Archstone says she was, and I don't know why the Archstone text would lie about her murder.
Right. I don't think so either. So I don't really buy it. I just looked at that because I wanted to see pictures of her because, I just think she's a cool NPC. I'll just go ahead and say it right now. Probably one of my favorite NPCs.
Yes.
In the series.
Yeah, and it's sort of like you said. I kind of picture like her as like someone like, British title in a bombed out London in World War II.
Absolutely.
Like things are just done certain ways, and it doesn't matter that's what separates us from the animals. Like, we're going to maintain our dignity. We're going to maintain our decorum. And that is all that separates us. And it's important to hold on to at any cost, anywhere.
You nailed it. It's also fitting that the same actress voiced Yosefka.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
Which maybe someday we'll get to. Yosefka.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. Even if it means that we have to co-op, you have to co-op Bloodborne again just to get through it.
That's what we'll do. We'll get to whatever the game is right before Bloodborne, talk our way through it and be like, what's up next, Matt? And then just go dead. We never get to it.
That would be so sad. So sad.
No, because Bloodborne, I'm on record saying it's one of my least favorite to play, but it's one of my most favorite to experience. So, and for you, you're lucky because it's one of your most favorite to play and most favorite to experience.
Cross the line. It's good stuff. Should we talk about it? You've reined me in, which is good because I think it was too early, but I think we should talk about Fool's Idol, who is or unless there's something else you want to mention about 3-1.
Well, actually, there's a couple of things. One of the things, so one of the things I mentioned in World 2 discussion was how you would find the bodies of fully armored knights, and sort of implying the connection to Boletaria, out in the, in the caves, there would be like knights in fluted armor, just scattered all over the place. Some of the things I thought was interesting in this one, similar knights are here, and I can't tell if were prison, like some have fallen off ledges and landed on fences. I feel like maybe at some point did King Alant send a force in and they got captured, because there's multiple knights here.
Well, you literally find the fluted armor set here, right?
Oh, that might be true. Yeah.
That's interesting. I just assumed that there was a close relationship between Boletaria and Latria.
And the reason why I wanted to get into this, because I tried to really pay attention to like who's here, right? So you mentioned you might pick up the fluted armor, overlooking,
and Sage Frake is here.
Sage Frake is here now, but he's a native to Latria.
He is, but he also traveled the lands.
That's true.
He's responsible a lot for the soul magic. Like, I think he would have had to have been involved to a certain extent.
Okay.
And what's interesting, real quick, and I won't spoil this, but I beat the game since last time we talked.
Okay.
But I did not talk to Sage Frake.
Oh.
And after you beat, if you're listening to this and you're playing along, whatever, and you're like me and it is crucially important to talk to Sage Frake before you go to the final part of the game. It's just really important dialogue.
Yes.
Which again, I think just drives home how big of a deal Sage Frake is. Anyways, again, I won't spoil that. I think we'll talk about Sage Frake more. He's not going anywhere.
No.
But yeah, sorry.
So and then overlooking, on one side of the Fool's Idol church, you have the guy who keeps everybody alive, who's actually sort of the puppet master. On the other side, there's a similar hallway. In there, you find the Imperial spy outfit. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the thing. This. So there's an outfit of an Imperial spy, which I took to mean Boletaria, overlooking the church. And so to me, that was like, how much is above board and how much is backhanded? Because like that idea is something that comes up again, like say like in Dark Souls, maybe it comes up other places too, but like in Dark Souls, anywhere that there's a dragon, there's one of those guys in the robes that does the dance and is observing them. I don't know if you know who I mean, but like in Dark Souls, like right in the beginning, as you're going to the dual gargoyles, you fight up and there's a whole mob of undead, but along with him is sort of this priest-like creature in like blue and red robes. And so what you realize is anytime you see a dragon in the game, you see one of these people, or like, the dragon with all the teeth in its sort of distended stomach, underneath. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't kill the guy who does the dance above him, he'll buff the dragon, in the sewers, whatever that underground place is, the lower level of below Lower Undead Burg. You go into anyway. The idea of like watching and observing, keeping tabs is something I think that kind of starts here with this Imperial spy outfit. And just made me wonder.
That also, just real quick, that also brings up that there are, I mean, we'll get to it eventually, but like there's also assassins in this world.
Right.
And that maybe that ties into the spy armor being found, or why you find the spy armor where you do. Eventually, we'll get to Yurt, of course,
right.
And we'll save that. But there are the signs of some nefarious kind of shadowy stuff moving in the background.
Yes, yeah, because there's that, and like you said, assassins. Like one of the weapons you can pick up. So there's like the secret dagger, which is a standard issue for the King's Spy. So I assume that was with the Imperial spy outfit. There's a weapon you can pick up called Baby's Nail. And the Baby's Nail is a plague dagger wielded by women and children for assassination. So
yeah, right. So there's another
right, and that's not saying like Imperial spies coming to assassinate. That's women and children within Ratlatch. So there feels like a very Games of Thrones kind of, people knocking people off. Another set you can get here is the Rogue's Clothes, which is worn by members of a secret coterie who plot, I don't know if I'm saying that word right, who plot to harness powers of souls. So there's this other group that is sort of on the down low trying to observe as well. So there's a lot of observation going on here in Latria, trying to figure out like...
Well, there's a lot of observation, there's a lot of backstabbing, there's a lot of assassination. I mean, I think the Game of Thrones comparison is appropriate.
And it makes me wonder, like, how far ahead of everybody was Latria, that everybody's trying to watch them and sort of keep tabs, and rogues are secret societies trying to figure out what's going on. And anyway, it just made me kind of curious, like, of all the different sets you could get, 2 of them involve spying and trying to learn secrets. So I just
spying and assassination. Yeah, I think I'm glad you brought that up, because it is this like quieter or more subtle kind of backdrop of things that are going on, that if you start to look at those things, like, why is this here? And a lot of that stuff, if not all of it, maybe not all of it, is there intentionally. And I mean, there is that is some of the environmental storytelling, right? Like, you find assassin's clothing for a very important reason.
Yeah. And, again, because it was just like a highly noble society, the fact that there was actually this huge, underside to it going on that's implied through a couple of item drops.
It's
a complicated world without being complicated in a sense, I guess. But anyway, so that's just a few things I want to talk to. But yeah, if you want to talk now about the Fool's Idol, unless there's something else you want to get into.
I mean, Fool's Idol is a relatively easy fight. You mentioned that it's a fight theme that gets picked up on a number of times, and basically it's a magic user that will clone itself. There's a real version. You need to kill the real version. We mentioned that you have to kill the kind of summoner or the magic user up above, or they will keep reviving this boss after you fight them. There's traps on the floor. There's draglings. Really, you see the traps pop up. You can just dodge around them. You can find out pretty easy, I think, just with target lock, if I remember right, to get the right Fool's Idol. She's not very aggressive, and it's a representation of what the. I mean, I assume this is what the queen. Obviously, they make an idol to look like the queen. Yeah. But she is kind of laughably easy.
Yes. Yeah. And I think. And it's interesting because the fight itself, like you said, if you target lock on there's multiple copies of the Fool's Idol. If you target lock on one that's fake, they'll have a health bar above them. Just unlock, target lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I, in my first attempt, did not realize there was a guy up above that was actually sort of the driver of the illusion. And so I couldn't kill them. Like, it just kept going on and on. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And eventually you're like, oh, okay. You just get up there. He goes down like that. Behind him is the warden's key. No.
Yes.
It's the is it the warden's key or the special key?
It's the special key. No, it's the special key. It's the special key.
Yeah. And so make sure you don't miss that, because that you
need that for
Frake, right?
Sage Frake.
Yeah. So that's what you need to go unlock Sage Frake. That's actually one of 3 keys I often missed. I didn't miss it this time. This time I missed 2 others, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think it's worth noting that the approach to the final boss. What do you think? The approach to the final boss is you make your way through the prison, you come out onto this massive walkway that has been guarded by the queen's statue shooting arrows at you. At this point, you've gotten behind it, you've disengaged it, it turns off, it closes up, and then you ascend this massive staircase. You run into a red phantom, but this and I think the red phantom might be, I don't think it's a Latria person, isn't it? Or is it like a spy?
They don't look like a spy, though. They have a crossbow and a sword.
I thought they had one of those
crossbow
daggers,
does a good amount of damage. But I feel like they weren't wearing the right clothes.
They might not
like
have
a
been.
helm or anything. But
anyway, but yeah, you ascend this massive staircase to this enormous, awe-inspiring cathedral, which again, like the whole point of cathedrals in real life are meant to be these awe-inspiring, worthy of God buildings. And here it's just this unbelievable edifice, beautiful. And you enter into, it's got the pews, and as you approach, like the queen descends from above, and she has 4 arms, which tends to be a pretty typical thing. Like, I think the maiden who guides you through Elden Ring, doesn't she have 4 arms? I feel like 4 arms is a thing that repeats.
In Elden Ring?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I think that's a repeating pattern. But anyway, and then you have the fight, like you said, you just figure out which one's real with target lock, you beat it to death. And then after the fight ends, what happens?
Well, wait, real quick.
Oh, let's go back.
I just want to, while you were saying that, it is Baby's Nail Black Phantom, so it is an assassin.
It is an assassin.
I think I just didn't pay enough attention, and they use like poison and all that stuff, and they're wearing a thief ring. Because like she'll kind of fade in and out.
Right.
Or I've always, yeah.
And I just want to point something out. This is not something I noticed. This is from one of the videos that I'll link to. There's 2 items you get a lot of here. One you said is like the mana potions. It's like the spice, the aged spice, which is dropped by all the guards because they all were former noblemen that were into magic. The other thing you pick up a lot of are noble lotuses, which are the red flowers that cure poison.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And so what some people suggested was that the reason why they're all over the place is because, much like the Edelweiss and the uniform, like it was something that they all wore. 1, because it was like decorative sign of nobility, but 2, because it cured poison, and you never knew when you're going to get assassinated. Like somebody's going to take a shot at you. But I think it's interesting that the baby's nail? That's the weapon you get from killing the Black Dagger, the Black Phantom. That dagger doesn't poison you. It plagues you. So it's a weapon that is specifically going to get around the flower that everybody would wear traditionally as both a decoration and a potential protection from poison. Because you need a different flower for plague.
Yes, that is interesting. I think you do get the baby's nail not from killing them. It's in the, because you have to be careful, because as you said, what happens is as you approach the altar, you get our first. I think it's in the arena. You just have to be. You can't get too close to the altar. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Because I don't think she drops any. I keep saying she's a she, but that's just because I assumed that the Phantom Mask was hair, and that's why I didn't realize, or not Phantom Mask, but Assassin Mask was like a ponytail. But that's not the case.
No, and you're right that it's found in the boss fight. It's not found on that person. Yeah.
So, but as Art said, after you do the fight, if you approach the altar, we get our first gargoyle ride.
Yes.
And you ascend.
And I just want to say, hot take, come at me, bro. Demon Souls Gargoyle Ride makes more sense in context than Dark Souls. Because,
without a doubt.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it actually,
It
right.
actually
There's
makes sense.
absolutely a reason here.
Yeah.
And that reason is then just, it's why I like man-eaters thematically.
Yeah.
And I had to watch a video on this to learn this because I didn't make the weapon that man-eaters get you, but what the man-eaters aren't just some big dumb brute, right? Like,
right.
And so the demons being this deal that, remember, they're power hungry for souls up above. The former noble's wife tells us that. This is how they get you up above, right? Like you ascend, and here you go.
Right. And I assume most of the mindless ones aren't there for a fight. They probably, if they've sort of lost it, they'll just want to go ascend. So they probably walk into the church like the zombies in there that are part of the fight and worshiping. I imagine they're about to get ascended without having to fight.
Oh, the people in the church?
Yeah, probably. I assume that's what they're there for. They're worshiping and probably getting ascended, and you interrupt it with enough presence of mind for somebody to go like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kill Fool's Idol and you get the Doll Demon Stone, which you can get Soul Ray. Is what that turns into. I don't think you can turn it into any weapons. I think it's just Soul Ray.
And I think that's a pretty good spell.
Yeah, I mean it's just an upgraded version of Soul Arrow, and it's got like piercing.
Right.
Yeah. I think it pierces and maybe splashes or something like that. Yeah, it's good. You want to use it if you're using magic spells, but I think this is where, if you hadn't picked up on it yet, if you get this and read it, it tells you that the idol is in the form of the Queen of Latria.
Yeah. And again, probably helping sell the lie. You know, if these things are mindless, you know, they might not be able to tell the difference. Might help get them to get on board and get thrown into the grinder.
So do you like this fight?
Do I like this fight? It's similar to why I like the Demon God fight at the end of World 2. The fight itself is not terribly interesting. I wouldn't want it to be a challenge at this point when I'm replaying it. I'm just like, whatever. But I love everything about the level leading up to it. I love the context. I love the story that it's part of this lie, selling you on the idea of wanting to go get thrown into the grinder to feed the greater purpose of the higher ups. So the fight itself, I love the arena. I love the church, you know.
Yep.
So I love everything about it contextually. The fight itself is not interesting to fight. And so I'm glad I can just blow through it with that lock-on trick. But I love what it means. I love what it represents. And I love its presentation.
The one thing, everything you agree with, I agree 100%. Also, her presentation, I think she's a cool-looking boss, too, just to add on to it. And I think it's actually kind of true of most the pieces of the demon. We've talked about how easy a lot of the Demon Souls bosses are.
Right.
Their parts as a whole really set them apart. Now, what would I do to make this fight better? Probably, I don't know, not make it so mind-numbingly easy, but also just like throw in some dialogue. Like if she like has this seductive or alluring voice, and it's all about ascending and like seeking redemption, like yes, come to me and we shall ascend, and you know, like that would, but you know, that's a little ham-fisted or a little too blunt for Demon Souls, or for Souls in general. I don't know how I'd improve it, but I think everything you said is just like spot on, and it's true of most Demon Souls fight. There's just some stupid ass easy fights that are just like, yeah, but when you look at it as a whole, it's really cool. And this is one of those. Absolutely.
Yes. And one other thing, I don't think we mentioned this, and this might be me misreading it. You know, I was mentioning some of the corpses that you see lying around. Some of them are like in fluted armor. Some of them have like the spy assassin kind of stuff. Some of them are similarly dressed to the Fool's Idol, like, you know, black robes, but only 2 arms. And they end up having a look, to me, when I was sort of examining them in where they were resting, of the Maiden in Black. And so I don't believe there's like an official lore connection between the Maiden in Black. I was just sort of Googling it really quickly, and some people speculate that while there's no official connection, she does have similar powers to, or similar, you know, whatever, but they do look like, and it made me wonder, like, I mean, because the Maiden in Black, like, she's really powerful, but a lot of people, I think, say like she's actually one of like the original old ones or something, like some kind of big demon. So she wouldn't have needed Latria's power to learn the soul arts, because she has command of soul arts to a great degree. Like, you know, she can take your souls and turn them into power and level you. Right. But that's different than what Sage Frake did, which was making it accessible to the masses. So,
right.
I don't know. Anyway, but it was just something I have footage, and I'll try and stick in something which shows, like, am I crazy?
I didn't notice this, so I can't say one way or another, but it's interesting.
It's something on my last couple of playthroughs I've started really looking around, because this was the stuff on my first couple of playthroughs that I looked up after the fact. Like, I just completely missed anything environmental, and I was like, oh wow, there's a lot here. And so this time I've been like, you know what, let me be a little bit of a tourist. Let me pay attention when I pick something up. Where is it? And, you know,
I'm in agreement with you. I mean, some of this was so like you had to get it on one, and I think a lot of it is, do you talk to the former noble's wife or not? Because she tells you, she gives you the story. If you don't have it, it's like, right. But again, then going through the next time I went through this was for this, so it's a way different lens. Whereas the first time through is exploration and just trying to find your way to the next area, and eventually, you know, we talked about the level flow, but the whole first part is you find a key, and eventually you have to backtrack to the beginning of the level, right, into like a not, you know, and so it is a little bit, you're kind of focused on that, you miss some of this stuff, and that's completely reasonable. But I think the overall story of it was, the nice thing was it was obvious, which throw that in with the ambiance in a good story, it really makes 3-1 is the best of Latria in my opinion. But the more I dive into Latria, it makes me go back and like 3-2 more. The things I don't like about 3-2 are bad design mechanically. Right. A shitty boss run back where you get paralyzed on a ramp that you'll probably get knocked off of. A shitty boss arena that is just like,
it's tough.
It right. And so those are the things that don't make me like 3-2. 3-2 also is just a big level to,
it really is,
to go on. And so that's one of the reasons why I think 3-1 is probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite of Latria, at least.
Okay, there's a couple things I want to ask. Is it one of your favorite in the game?
I did find out. Yeah, I'll say yes. But what are the things called at the bottom of, before you go to the crossbow? There's like a big blob thing, and he's got like a bunch of arms that can stab you, and he also uses magic. They have a name. I don't remember what they're called.
I know what you mean though, but it's sort of the idea of like just a mass of people sort of glommed together into this monstrous ball of
magic and armor and swords and Yeah, those guys get much harder if you're not playing like a solid melee build. Because I knew I needed the key, but I didn't remember where it was to get to. You can either run across the bridge and roll through the
if you're good
arrows, and if you go that route, you get a trophy, or you find a key and you go by where Sage Frake is, or no, you go by where what's his name is
Rydell.
And then you can kind of go back around the archer.
Yeah, you get behind
and
it.
Find a back way in. And I was like, is the key behind this stupid thing? And it was just like souls or something like that. And so that being said, like that's a frustrating part I found out on a magic build. But on a melee build, I didn't have trouble with that guy. So I think it's one. What about you?
I would say, as much as, we talked 1-1, 1-2, 1, we haven't done 1-3 yet. As much as I sang the praises of Latria, it's just like this incredibly well designed, especially 1-1. I want to say it might be my favorite just because I'm willing to put atmosphere and context above mechanics. And the atmosphere of Boletaria 1-1 is great, but this is so powerful and so like just down to a detail is so immersive and evocative, and the singing, we were talking about the soundtrack. And so mechanically, I actually, you start on one level and then the way you go down is you actually have to first go up, which doesn't make any sense. Like, so at some point it's just like, and then my frustration is I always miss one of two sets of keys. Either I miss the 1F set, which is not, it's sort of like in a hallway instead of in the actual prison rooms. Or this time what happened, I forgot that the warden's key is on the bridge where the arrows are, but you're able to get to it without getting shot.
That's where it is. Yeah, it's right. It's the first item on the bridge. That's the same thing. I was like, I know it's here.
Yeah, there's something I'm missing, and
I was
I
like,
can't.
fuck it, I'm going to the bridge, and then I got the item, and I was just like, son of a bitch. Backtracked.
Yeah, when I was playing for research this afternoon, or whenever it was early this morning. It took me like 2 hours to get through the level, and about an hour of it was like, I don't know where the key is. So mechanically, it's not interesting in that sense. Like, that's part of the beauty of a good level design, is it gets you to go where you need to go without realizing it. And this is just sort of a bit of a jumbled mess. Again, like, go to level 3, but then you got to go to level 4 so you can get down to level 3 again on the other side. So then you can get to level 2 and you're just like, wait, what?
Well, and that's part of the problem of, like, we would have found the warden's key if it was our first time through the level, right? Because the gates to Rydell, the back way in behind the archer, would be locked, and it's like, well, we don't have the key. I guess I have to go across this bridge.
Right.
Oh, first item. But my problem was like, well, I'm not going to the bridge because I know I need a key.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
So this might be one of the times where, like we were saying in earlier levels, like Demon Souls, your second time through is very different than your first. This might be the one time it's bad.
Yeah, right. I know it's here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fuck that giant. Yeah.
And I got to say, like, I've watched speedruns where they roll through that. It's impressive.
It is. I tried it. So you can get all you have to do is make it across the bridge without dying, and you get the trophy. Because I was like trying to time all my rolls, and I got like okay at it, and then I got shot, and I was like, fuck it, I don't care that much, and then I got the trophy. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to make you could.
I think you just have to cross the bridge.
Okay. Right.
I assumed it was don't get hit by any arrows.
Okay.
Which would make more sense, but yeah, anyways.
I wonder, can you tank it with the right shield? Like, is that even possible, or is it just
I don't think so. No, okay. I don't. I mean, I assume you would need monster stamina.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with you in terms of, like, this is maybe in the series. I have some definite, like, pieces of Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne that are ranked above anything in Demon Souls, but this is still one of my favorite aesthetically pleasing levels.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about World 5.
Yeah.
And go through World 5 with this different lens. Meaning I'm going through with a more like, what's this here for?
Right.
And be able to look up way more spoilers and just different thoughts on it. Because even my first time through World 5, I loved it. Even though mechanically, same thing. It's very similar to me. It's an aesthetically pleasing that checks all of the boxes But mechanically, it's just like, fuck it, I can't wait to get out of this place.
Right. Mechanically, yeah. And it also, it reinforces the themes or whatever of like Latria, soul magic. It's sort of the science. It's the rational, the hope that people are given. They use religion, and World 5 is led by a religious figure of people who are sort of at the lowest of low, who need that
without hope. They have
right.
They've just resigned to their fate.
Right. And so, yeah, the only comfort they get might be from this religious figure. Anyway, that's 5, whatever. I think it's worth, I don't know if this is what we want to bring it home on, but I think it's worth bringing up in Demon Souls, at least. And we've sort of hinted at it with every one we've done, but I think it's something that we should sort of make a standard part of the discussion. What do you think of the boss run? Because Demon Souls has least help in that regard. But what do you think of this boss run, assuming, you're going to die to Fool's Idol because you don't figure out you need to kill the guy or else they're invincible or something?
The pathway through this level, once you know the level, is pretty easy. You do have to kill, for the boss run, you have to kill 2 of the prison guards just to be able to get to the stairs to get down here. Right. And then you can pretty much run through everything else. But this level desperately needs a shortcut from the beginning of the level to the bottom of the prison.
Yeah.
And also, because where I really ran into it is getting to Lord Rydell.
Oh, yeah.
Killing him on Black World Tendency.
Okay.
And that's the moment where I decided that I don't care about the rest of these trophies very much because I kept dying to Lord Rydell and I was sick of running through this level.
Yeah.
This level needs shortcuts.
I think it needs a little bit of help. The couple things I noticed.
All of 3 needs shortcuts, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Because this boss run once, so I'll say in my playthrough today, because I wasn't paying attention 100%, I did die the first time I tried Fool's Idol because I was sort of half looking at something on the other screen. I wasn't taking it seriously. I did not respect it, and it killed me. And I'm glad it did, because it made me appreciate, you know what? Because as I said, it took me literally hours to get through it because I kept forgetting keys, specifically the 1F and the Warden's key. But so I was a little frustrated, being like, God damn it, these keys, I don't know where. And then, but I'm glad that I got killed by it because it made me appreciate, you know what? Now that I can see the whole route and I can set aside the blood boiling rage I'm experiencing of not being able to find the keys, it's pretty clean, but it's not smooth. It's not efficient.
It's just a little long. It's just a little long. There's no way to shortcut it other than you have the key to go backwards now at the start. Right. And to run outside right away. So you are able to bypass a lot of it. And there's nothing challenging. It's not like the 3-2 boss run, which is short, but way harder.
Yeah.
Or there's worse boss runs. It's just, this one is long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's
without
a
shortcut, it's just, right. There's nothing hard about it. And when you know the route, it's just I got to do it.
Right. Because then, like you said, you just get outside, the bridge is already shut down, you just run across the bridge with the crossbow trap.
Yeah, right.
But it is, and so I did feel like, oh, okay, now that I can sort of see it from 1,000 feet up, sure, yeah, I get it. But
yeah.
But
I died. So the very first time I fought Fool's Idol, again, the resurrection had been spoiled for me. I went in with no health potions. I was like, well, let me just see what this boss is, right? I know I need to go farm health roots. I'll do that. Let me just see. And I almost got it with no potions. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. So then I was like, this time I was like, oh, let me kill this red demon. And then, but I had no health plants either. And so then I died to the red demon right outside the boss gate again. And it's the exact, I was like, well, why am I going into this with no health regeneration twice? But her crossbow, that red demon crossbow, hits harder than the boss, I think.
I was about to say,
it's like a fucking truck.
I think I actually had more trouble with her because I was like, let me keep some distance. And I was like, no, I need to.
No, you can't.
I got to close
You
that
need to get her
distance right
sword out
now.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. Because the crossbow will
And
wreck
my whole
you.
thing was like, I'm going to get distance because I don't have any health roots. And it was like, oh, yeah, that was a fucking terrible choice.
That's a terrible idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool level.
yeah. It doesn't have the elegance of 1-1's shortcuts, which are both
No.
like logical within the world and true shortcuts that present you right in front of the boss. But I was sort of like, okay, I think I appreciate it a little bit more than I did like the first time I played the game, where I was just got my ass kicked by that level. The guards, losing keys.
It's not a bad boss run, right? I mean, it's not like in a game that has bad boss runs.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, old king. Or no, just King Allant.
King
not
Allant,
even
not
like,
the old king.
The fucking elevator ride from hell. It's like, why are we taking a 10-minute elevator ride every time?
Yeah. Oh man. Was there anything else you wanted to say
Demon
about
Souls?
Was that? Yeah, classic. But was there anything else you wanted to say about Prison of Hope 3-1?
No, I think it's I think this is just purely me and just us talking about it. But, FromSoft, I think they take Demon Souls and eventually it turns into, wouldn't it be cool if most of our game had these cool shortcuts? Whereas in 2, we get the big shortcut, but in 3, the quote-unquote shortcuts more feel like transportation to another place.
Right.
So like the 3-2 shortcut isn't really a shortcut. It's just getting to the elevator. There's no way to like bypass that level, right? There's no way to bypass this level. You're opening up cells that keep the level flowing. Right. So eventually I think FromSoft kind of settles into what they're known for.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3-1, I think from aesthetics, from lore, from physical and sound and emotional vibes, it'd be interesting to like, I could probably say top 10 favorite zones. It'd be interesting. I would need to probably go back and revisit some from stuff, of course, but I feel pretty confident in saying that. Like it just strikes a lot of the notes, and you throw in cosmic horror and you have my attention anyway. So
yeah,
strong zone. I really like it.
Yeah, I'll just conclude by saying Latria 1-1 and 1-2 made me realize I was playing something special. When I got to 3-1, it made me realize I was experiencing something special.
Oh, you clever bastard.
Yeah, so it was just it's what made me realize, like, I think this might be one of the most captivating games I've ever played. Because it went beyond mechanics. I was like, yeah, I'm starting to get the hang of it, whatever. I'll eventually get good. But it made me realize, like, there was something to this that just grabbed part of my brain.
Did you play Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 or Metal Gear Solid on the PS2?
I actually never owned a PS1 or PS2. So,
okay.
No.
I mean, I agree with you. These are what these games do, but also it's that also I had a similar feeling, and I know this is way off topic, but I had a similar appreciation for Metal Gear Solid 1 as a kid. Because I feel like that's the first game that I had like this real overarching, because I got an N64 later.
Okay.
And games like Legend of Zelda on the regular Nintendo were text-based, and I was a kid and I wanted to play like the Batman beat 'em up.
Yeah.
But Metal Gear lacks the subtlety of Bloodborne, but has a lot of that environmental storytelling and very so when you say like, oh, I'm experiencing something special, I remember having that feeling with Metal Gear Solid, which still remains one of my favorite games. Like mechanically it's rough to go back and play the PS1 just because the controls are atrocious. But still, just from amazing boss design, character design, and level design, all of that actually very similar to my approach to Demon Souls and the rest of the Souls series.
That's interesting. I've never really been excited. My first Metal Gear game was actually on the original NES.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was fascinating at the time, but I didn't own an NES, so I could only play it in spurts with friends or cousins. But I found like you could do the radio frequencies.
Sears. At Sears in like the women's section or whatever they had a display.
Yeah. But like the way you'd like dial in certain radio frequencies to talk to like Big Boss.
Yeah.
Or I just thought there was like a lot going on there. I've always wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 5 because I've heard it's an open world stealth military game.
I've never played it. 4 was the last one I played through.
Okay. And I never wanted, so I gave it a shot, and the opening cutscene, my God, it just is interminable for Metal Gear Solid 5. But I wanted to give them props because for the whole cutscene, you're in a hospital and it's doing the thing like, hey, follow me and we'll do the tutorial level together. But the guy's wearing a hospital gown that's open in the back with nothing on.
Yeah, right.
So the whole time you're just following like this ass cheeks. And I was like, you know what?
That I did play that part of Metal Gear 5.
Yeah. I was like, kudos. That is well done, sir.
Did you ever play Metal Gear 1 at all?
No, I've never owned a PlayStation until PlayStation 3. So Metal Gear Solid 5 is the one.
You should play Metal Gear Solid 1. And I know people will say like, oh, Snake Eater's the best. Probably. But like my brother owned Snake Eater and I was only allowed to watch. I wasn't allowed to play.
Older brother shit right there.
Yeah, right. But the PlayStation 1 was ours. And then I do think he let me play a little 2, or I would sneak into his room and play 2.
Okay.
But one will forever hold a very special place in my heart. I would love to hear your thoughts on 1. Again, mechanically, it's clunky to play, just like how the aiming controls work, how the item menu works. But it also did shit. There's a boss where if you don't plug your controller into the second controller port.
Oh yeah, I remember something hearing about that. Yeah,
when it'll tell you like your data file is like your save file's corrupted, and then there's like a frequency you can call. It's like check the back of your CD case, and like I'm checking items on Snake's body to get the frequency code. I'm like, I don't see it. I think that person does eventually call you. I never thought to like pick it up, and it's like, oh man,
they do some interesting stuff.
Maybe that's nostalgia, and then the story's just so fucking good.
All right. Well,
you should play. So you haven't played any of them other than the NES ones. You kind of dabbled with 5, but
yeah. And when I say dabbled, I mean very lightly, because I thought like it's a really cool premise where it's like an open world in Afghanistan. Yeah. But like I don't mean this like in a dismissive way, but like the bullshit, which is like the black goop that flies around. Like there's a lot of like, I don't know what's going on, because it's not like a straight military kind of game. There's obviously a lot of things that go on in Kojima games that are not like literal, or they are, but they're weird. Because I've played probably more of Death Stranding than I have by far any Metal Gear game. And, you know, there's stuff there, like there's aspects of it. I'm like, this is really fascinating, taking chances. But then like all of a sudden, like the spirits come or something. I'm like, I don't want to do the fight. I just want to do the other parts. I don't want to, you know. But anyway, but yeah, no, I've never, anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I know that's a detour. Now I really want you to play Metal Gear Solid 1.
Well, once we're done doing our Bonfire walk with me, we'll have to come up with a pun for
Metal Gear Solid with the Twin Peaks. We'll have to,
because
we'll have to think of it.
Yeah, my fear is that I'll hate it. That's my fear, and I don't want to promise something that I might hate. Or maybe that's the fun of it, is you watch me hate my way through a game. Because
we also had a demo of it. I don't know if it's a Pizza Hut demo or where we got it, and so I played that intro level ad nauseum, and then we finally got it for Christmas.
Okay.
And anyways, that'll be another.
Yeah, I've always heard.
At least this is at the end of the episode. Matt's fucking 10 minutes gush on Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, because I've always heard those games they're not for everyone. A lot of people really love them, but they're idiosyncratic enough, I think, to maybe not be universally appealing. But maybe that's not true.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And I went back to go play 4. It's also like do I have time for a 15-minute cutscene? And like this
I might
game
not
does
now
not
with
respect
kids.
my time
Right.
at all.
Right.
But one is truly something special in terms of like what it does from a gameplay and like lasting consequences. Like the decisions you make in a game, one of two characters will survive. And then depending on what you want, either you get one that makes you permanently invisible or one that gives you unlimited ammo and stuff. And so like you can go back and replay the game in different ways.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we can't. We can, but why we let the people go?
After we rewatch and talk about all of Twin Peaks.
And all of the Souls games and all the RPGs.
Yeah. Well, one of those will finish.
One of those, yeah, in theory.
RPGs, right?
Right.
Unless the world just like, you know what, we're done making RPGs. We're done. we've had our fill. We can do nothing else with this, and there's just a collective of all right.
Yeah. Well, I think with that, I think we should say, like, I think by the time this starts going up, hopefully we've gotten back to Symbaroum, because that's going to be, at the time of this recording, that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So I'm really looking forward to that. We finished up Rosewood Abbey again at the time of this recording a little while ago. Patrick and I did a Damn Fine Coffee where we talked about, inspired by our Rosewood Abbey conversation, RPGs you'd want to play in other systems. Nice. Which I think I felt bad because I don't think I did Rosewood Abbey true service. But I think it did. The fact that it got me juiced to want to play in that setting, even if it's with, maybe other core systems and borrow ideas from it, I think that's still a compliment. But I do feel like I gave it a bit of a short shrift in its proper form. So I feel a little badly about that. But
again, the players did way more. So,
but it's been good getting back on the horse. Like I feel like we're really got things going. We're talking about other things. I don't know if we should talk about it here or just let it fester a bit more before we start saying things out
what
loud.
Other things?
Actually rewatching.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I have started rewatching it. Also, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
So we have Swords of the Serpentine. Can't wait for it.
Yes.
We have Symbaroum.
Yes.
We will get back to that before Patrick's maternity leave.
Right.
I was driving to work today, and all I could think about was, now we're waiting on the deluxe edition, so I had to wait, we can't play it. I was like, I need to set up a liminal horror game for spooky season and either do the thing that you're doing with Dragonbane, which has been awesome. I can't wait to talk about Dragonbane on show because the what's happening in the game is fucking hilarious, and I just want to tell someone about my experience and what my character did. But I was like, oh, should I do it? But then I was like, no. I fucking need to wait for the deluxe edition. Then I started thinking about, you're going to fucking shoot me. I started thinking about Delta Green.
But that's where when
I was just all in on the spooky season.
Yeah, but Sword of the Serpentine is Patrick's paternity leave game.
Yes.
So one of the things that we do
liminal horror also be. It's just we got to wait on. We might as well wait on the deluxe edition to come out.
Right. But I don't know, is his thing going to be long enough to do a whole Sword of the Serpentine and liminal horror, or would you? So one of the things, let me just say, one of the things, we have a Discord. If you want to jump on, Matt mentioned Dragonbane. It's a game that we organize on the Discord. Now, would you organize the liminal horror for the official feed, or would it be?
It depends. That's what I was wondering. Is do we bring back? Because I love your premise. What we came up with for why your character wants to do these things of being a podcast host, is so good that I can't wait to get back to your character. Plus, he's got daddy issues. I mean, he's the daddy that has issues. I loved bringing his kid into the last one. Yeah. And then, but on the other hand, it's also it'd be cool to do a Halloween. I heard on another podcast that they did a Call of Cthulhu and a Firewatch Tower. I was it'd be really, because it'd be hard for me to get your character to a Firewatch Tower and then for a reason that makes sense in where he is in the world. But it's also that'd be a really cool one shot. Anyways, Anyways,
we continue to not have any any clear line of what we're doing.
No, we don't even know what next week brings. I mean, hypothetically, we're playing Cimarron, but
but who knows? Yeah,
who knows?
Anyway, so why don't we, for the time being, bring this home?
All right.
For everybody who checked this out, thank you so much. We always appreciate the people that are watching this. If you are watching this, you've already found our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe if this is your thing. We are mostly a tabletop RPG actual play channel, believe it or not, because we're going to get deep into Souls. But yeah, that's the main point of the channel. That's where it all started. We have our Discord, as we mentioned. Come jump in if you want to talk about RPGs, CRPGs. Again, I think we're all hoping that maybe more pickup games come from it. It's sort of just fun, hang out, nothing too formal. We have audio versions of a lot of our stuff. If you prefer that format, just search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever you get your podcasts. We should show up. And I think that's all of it. So the next Bonfire Walk with me, I assume, will be 3-2. There's no reason to deviate. Or in your playthrough, did you go from 3-1 and say, nope, ducking out of World 3, let me go somewhere else? Because we can go anywhere. I feel
like it was 2-2. Well, no, do we go to 1-3 next? No,
Well, you could have gone to 1-3 after beating World 2, after the Demon God.
Right. I feel like Penetrator comes soon, but I don't remember if Penetrator was before or after Maneaters.
Yeah, which order did you tackle them in? And do you have a preference? Do you want to stay with 3 because we were talking about Latria and then
we might as well stick with 3. I think what I did is I did 2-1. I probably did 2-1, 2-2, 3-1, 2-3.
Okay.
For some reason. Anyways.
All right.
And at some point in there is 1-3 after or before Maneaters. Anyways, we'll figure it out. It'll be fun. Yeah, probably 3-2.
But we'll probably stick with 3-2. And I think there's a lot of connective tissue, no pun intended, that probably makes it worth sticking with. You'll find out what that means, listeners. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, this was fun as always.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. What are you going to do now? I also...
What am I going to do now?
I might go watch Twin Peaks. That's why I brought that up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might, I might actually go read, I've been reading some Dark Eye, the German RPG.
Oh, no. Of course you fucking were.
Yeah, and I might go read a little more. I'm also reading like a little mystery that's been pretty good, but I might read some of that, and then I might go read. I want to talk, or I'll run it or something. At some point, I'm going to shove the Dark Eye down somebody's throat. And I don't know if it'll be like...
I'll open up.
Part of my rotation. It's crunchy. I like crunchy. I don't know if everybody loves crunchy systems. I don't know if Patrick loves crunchy. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway. So you're going to go watch some Twin Peaks, do you think?
Yeah, or read a spooky season book.
Nice.
I don't know.
Very nice.
Or
regardless.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Everyone,
thanks again.
Thanks for sticking with us and enjoying this. I understand, like, we're talking about a game way after millions of people have made Demon Souls content. The important thing for me is, like, I'm having fun doing this in a way that no other video, even with me gushing about Metal Gear Solid, which obviously holds a very nostalgic place in my heart, no other video game has made me want to... I saw this meme that's just like, I think we just have too much podcast recording equipment. We probably do. We don't need another Soulsborne podcast, but I'm having a blast with it. So I hope you are too. I hope the listeners are. It's really fun. And then the RPG stuff, of course, we always have a blast. So
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone take care. Thanks again. And Matt, have a good night, man.
All right.
The in-session music was provided by Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find the Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music. That's all one word.